Bloodhound's out, Seer is in, and this is why SSG will most probably be the most successful on this meta. So welcome back to the Apex Morning Shift, your number one ALGS morning show on the planet, which is a fact, by the way. We got a few things to talk about today, so let's get right into it. For those of you who didn't know, there was a new update on Tuesday, which consisted of a few changes, but the main ones were a huge Bloodhound nerf, which you can see on screen are these 3 points, but the biggest one is the fact that the threat vision is no longer visible through smoke or gas. Now, the reason Bloodhound's been picked so much is because of its strong combination with Bangalore and with smokes. But with that being gone, Bloodhound sort of becomes a little useless. On top of that, Bangalore was reworked a little bit. Now all players within smoke will now have a white highlight visible to other players in smoke within 20 meters, which now makes Bloodhound even more useless with Bangalore. So because of this change, there were no Pro League game days this weekend. However, we did have 5 blocks of scrims Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And it's safe to say that Bloodhound is completely gone. Bloodhound has been completely replaced by Seer. If you look at last week's pick rates during the scrims, 95% of teams played Bloodhound, and this week, Bloodhound is at 15%. What a drop. Yikes. And as you can see, Seer was at 0% last week, and this week is at 68%. So a lot of teams are now picking Seer, but not every team. And we'll get into explaining those legends in just a minute. So for those 5 blocks of scrims, the winners were Falcons, Furia, SSG, Not Moist, and SSG again. Now, I've taken the liberty of calculating the average points per scrims and compiled it in this leaderboard here. This is for the last 5 scrims this week, and here are the top teams. SSG, Yup, NRG, Liquid, Falcons, Furia, Weave, KCP, Bleed, and Complexity is your top 10 for this week's scrims. Now, keep in mind that some of these teams played all 5 blocks of scrims, and Yup, for example, only played 2, but, you know, it's still an average, so yeah, as we can see, SSG has clearly adapted to the Seer meta very quickly. For those of you who didn't know, Koiful used to play Bloodhound, but switching Koiful on Seer seemed a bit odd. So Phony switched on Seer, Koiful now is on Bangalore, and Zainu's still on Fuse. Which makes a lot more sense because I feel like Koiful on Seer would sort of hold his potential back in fights, which is what he's really good at. They've been playing Bang, Fuse, and Seer on both maps, Stormpoint and World's Edge, and they've been doing fantastic. So shout out SSG. And looking at the other pick rates this week, another legend that we've been seeing more since the update is Pathfinder. Especially on World's Edge, we've seen players like Yanya, Designful, Gent, and a few others run him. The great thing about Pathfinder is, yes, his zipline gives the team's ability to move around and rotate really fast, but his passive is what allows teams to select whether they want the ring console or they want the player beacon, depending on their playstyle and depending on where the ring pulls. Making Pathfinder such a versatile legend, and combined with Seer's tactical, it can allow you to grapple in, get a quick kill, which can be really good. Now, what does suck a little bit about Seer meta is that it does slow down fights a lot. Everyone throws down their Seer ults. It's permanent wall hacks versus permanent wall hacks. Everyone waits and it stalls a lot. Versus Bloodhound, where off a scan, you have a few seconds to pick up the information and make a move on it. So it's definitely a switch in playstyle, which is going to be interesting to see how teams adapt. And basing ourselves off of this week's scrims performances, it's obvious that SSG have it down. Other teams like Falcons, Yup, NRG, Liquid, Furia also seem to have Seer down. So it's going to be interesting to see how this applies next week. Yeah, next weekend. Now, in the meantime, we do have more scrims this week. So it's going to be good practice for the teams that have been struggling a little more and that need to do well this upcoming weekend. Because keep in mind that we only have 2 more game days before regional finals. Now, going into next weekend, if we look at the overall leaderboards here, Team Falcons, LG, TSM, and SSG seem to be pretty safe. They don't seem to have anything to worry about. As long as they get consistent points on the board, they should be fine, especially for Team Falcons, which I'm pretty sure they're already confirmed for lands. So I think it's safe to say that even if they finish 20th for the rest of everything, they'll be fine. Bleed, Liquid, Complexity, NRG, Furia should be fine. As long as they don't finish 20th, they'll be okay. And then we have the teams that are in the bubble: Weave, NGNL, CCE, Board, Oblivion, Cloud9, Not Moist, Fluffy Aimers. I would say those teams need to have a banger day to be able to secure themselves a top 20 to be able to play in the regional finals. And then we have teams like Oxygen, Elevate, Yup, Temper, Empire, Flat, and then Native. Those teams not only need a great day, but they actually need to like win a day to be able to make it in. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out next weekend on Saturday, where it's going to be Group A versus C at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then on Sunday, Group B versus C at 6 p.m. EST as well. So yeah, let me know down in the comments if you prefer Seer meta or Bloodhound meta, if you're disappointed that it's Seer or if you're happy about it. And that's pretty much it for today. I hope you guys did enjoy, and if you did, make sure you turn on notifications on. There's a new episode every Tuesday. Also follow me on Twitter. I do ALGS recaps and talk about different stuff right here. Yeah, go there. Other than that, I hope you guys have a wonderful week. See you next Tuesday. Like and subscribe. Peace. But his passive is what allows teams to select. But his passive is but his What's wrong with my voice?